We are back with another hand for the Vitchel or Vitchel League. I was playing with Cool Beans again. This was in the second match that we played. We ended up winning this match. It was our biggest win so far, so good stuff. And this came up in the second set. The first set we were about 30 imps up or something like that. So the second set we're playing against different opponents. And this was about halfway through. It was quite a flat set to this point. And this board isn't anything special necessarily. It's just one of those, I'll get to the interesting point anyway, and I want to give it away now to see if you can think about it yourself as well. So, you have the south hand, you've got a strong no trump with ace queen of spades, ace queen jack of clubs and a queen of hearts. And your partner passes and east opens one spade and you decide to overcall one no trump. I think you've got an absolutely fine one no trump. You would have opened a strong no trump anyway. And you've got ace queen of spades, that's two spade stop and a good club suit. So even if you're doubled, you're not going to go many off if partner hasn't got anywhere to run. And you can always run to two clubs if you feel like overcalling a no trump on this hand is unsafe. But I think it's absolutely standard. And it goes pass, pass, pass. So you're playing in one no trump, and of course they lead a spade at trick one. And you've got to decide how to plan the play of the hand. So if we can count our tricks, which is what you should be doing every time dummy comes down, you've got two spades. No guaranteed heart tricks unless they play them. You've got no guaranteed diamond tricks. You might have a diamond guess at some point. You're missing the ace queen 10, so you might be able to force a diamond trick eventually, but you might not be able to get to it. And you've got hopefully 4 clubs. If you can get to the north hand and take a club finesse, you might make 5. That does require the king of clubs on side, which is likely, but it also needs them to be 3-3 or the 9 to drop doubleton, which is less likely. So it looks like we've got 2 spades and 4 clubs, and then potentially some. There's enough in the red suits that they can't reel off a red suit. So what are we going to do? What's the plan on the hand? Have a quick think. Well, hypothetically, let's say that we take trick 1. Let's say we take the queen of spades at trick 1. How are we making it? We can play to dummy and try and get a diamond entry to take a club finesse, and then if we get a diamond entry, which isn't certain, and the king of clubs is on side, which isn't certain, and clubs are 3-3, we've got 8 tricks. Okay, so if that's the case, we've got 8 tricks, but we're playing teams. That's a lot of ifs in that statement. So we could win the first trick, hope to get a diamond entry, hope the clubs are coming in, and then we're going to make 1 diamond, 2 spades, and 5 clubs. That's a bit too much, too many ifs in that statement for me to be hopeful on that. It might be different in match points where you're trying to maximise your tricks. So if we take it and concede a club, what's going to happen? So if we take the 9 of spades and we just play maybe a club to the 10, if West has the king, they might duck it. If East has the king, hopefully clubs are going to be breaking after that point, and we're up to 6 tricks there. But if we do that, and one of them, and especially East, if East has the king of clubs, they're going to clear the spades, and when we cash our clubs, we're going to have to lose a trick. We're then going to concede 3 spade tricks, ace king of hearts, king of clubs, and ace of diamonds. So even if there's a nice diamond guess, we're not going to be able to make that guess. Okay? So I decided, and I don't know, like, I give this hand to a few people and nearly everyone else I gave it to did the same thing, but it's counterintuitive. What we're going to do is duck trick 1. East didn't play the king, jack or 10, so we haven't got a 3rd spade stop. We're just going to duck it. We know where the king of spades is. If we ever get to dummy, we can always take a spade finesse later. If no one ever plays a spade again, they're probably going to have to give us a heart and a diamond trick, because look at our hearts and look at our diamonds, they're so good. So someone else said, when I gave the handout, someone else says you've just got too much tempo if you duck, and I think they're right. You've basically, whatever they switch to now, you've got the tempo to knock out the king of clubs and hopefully set up a red suit trick. If they switch to a club now, brilliant, you might make 5 clubs, so they're probably not going to do that. It doesn't look right for them to switch to a diamond, because look how strong dummy's diamonds are. There's no way West is going to switch to a diamond from any holding. If they've got 3 low, it doesn't look right, because you might be picking up East's queen or something like that. So nearly always, they're probably going to switch to a heart. It's likely West has got 4 or 5 hearts. So it's likely they're going to switch to a heart here. So that's what they did. And you can see what happens at the duck of trick 1. We're in a much better place now. we now might not make the queen of spades because we might never get to dummy to take the finesse, but we're now going to make a heart, the ace of spades, and hopefully 5 clubs if we get a heart entry to the north hand. If not, we've got a diamond guess. So played a heart to the king, we played low, and then when they played a heart back, we've got a decision. Do we unblock the queen? No, they'll duck that. So we play low, and again, if West has the ace of hearts, they can take it, but then hearts are blocked, or they can duck and let us get to dummy. So they took it. They played a third heart. So hearts were 4-3. We don't necessarily know who's got the fourth heart. It's probably West because they switched to one. If West had longer clubs, they might have switched to a club instead. And now we are in a position where we've only won 1 trick, but we've got 1 heart, 1 spade, and 4 clubs. So we need some other trick somewhere. We either need to take the spade finesse if they have to play a spade, or hopefully we can muddle through the diamond trick. But more importantly, that ducker trick 1, they've only got 3 tricks. To beat us, they need 4 more. Where are they coming from if they don't play a spade? They're going to have to play a spade at some point, or they're going to have to set a diamond trick up in the north hand. So either way, I don't think there's anything we can do to go off now. What actually happened is we conceded a club. East played a spade, so we took a finesse. And we can now play a diamond finesse at some point for 8 tricks. We cash a club to see if they break. And then I said I was playing a diamond to the queen. Apologies, I was saying I was playing a diamond to the jack. There's no way West can have the ace of diamonds as well as the ace of hearts. So at some point I cashed my clubs. I played a diamond to the jack, and I was able to make the ace of spades and the king of diamonds for my 8th trick. So we ended up making 8 tricks on hand, where if we go back to the start, and you see at trick 1, you can see that if we take the queen of spades and play a club to the 10, East will clear the spades, and they're just going to make so many tricks. So it's one of these hands, and thinking at trick 1 is such a big important part of bridge, that so many mistakes are made at trick 1. Sometimes it's counterintuitive to duck. They've given you what looks like a free finesse, but you know where the king is. They've led a spade, so normally you just take a trick 1 because you would do with certain suits in certain situations. But you've got to learn to ignore trick 1, play the hand out in your head, see how the play's probably going to go, and see if the play's not going to go favourably for you. Why not make a different decision earlier in the hand, and hopefully things will work. So obviously not an exciting hand. We won no chump in a teams match. We ended up winning 4 imps on the hand. I can't remember what teammates were in. They were in like 2 diamonds, 1 off or something, or I can't remember the exact contract, but we ended up winning 4 imps on the hand. In a second set that was quite flat. We only won the second set by about 9 total. So it was an interesting hand. I think there were some people who wouldn't duck at trick 1, and I think if you don't duck, you're going to go off. So hope you enjoyed.